Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy, the Beanie Boy, and only the Beanie Boy. Welcome back to yet another Stomp Wrestling video. And as you can see, I've got the boys with me. First and foremost, in the red corner, Mr. No Days Off himself, Mr. WrestleDrop. And in the red corner, you know him. Well, it depends which side of him you know, because he's the Wyatt Six himself, bro. He's filtered, he's unfiltered. Maybe it's not even him, but it is the main man himself, Mr. MPKH. Yes, sir. And as you can see by the title of the video, we're discussing something very hot right now in the world of pro wrestling, something very skeptical. People are speaking about it, and why shouldn't we? You know what I'm saying? We are speaking about the quote-unquote Wyatt Six. Now, there is speculation, of course, that it might not even be a faction. It could just be six sides of Bray Wyatt, because, that man has changed characters and gimmicks so many times. He's his own faction, basically, but that's what people are saying. It just could be six sides of Wyatt, or it could be an actual faction. That's what we're here to talk about today, that if it is a faction, who do we think is going to be in the Wyatt Six? But before we get into it, let me hear from the boys. Mr. WrestleDrop, Mr. MPKH, what's going on?
Bro, it's been a crazy couple of weeks.
Very much so.
The Bray Wyatt stuff has just ignited a lot of a
a
lot of the wrestling world right now. So I'm here for it.
For real. Mr. MPKH, we see you unfiltered today. Your name is written as unfiltered, so is that what we're getting today?
We shall see. Probably should have kept it filtered, but hey, the fans want unfiltered.
This is a video where we'd expect you to go filtered, but as you say, unfiltered comes in and pays a visit when it's least expected. So we'll see. But let's get the conversation going, gents. Let's get the conversation going. I'll start with you, Mr. WrestleDrop, because you were speaking before we started recording. You've got a few names in mind. You've got a few names you read up on an article. Tell us, if the Wyatt Six were to be a faction, who do you see in it?
Okay, so I'm not gonna name all the names because let's have a discussion. So the first one I'm gonna throw out there is Liv Morgan. It's probably one that we've all probably maybe not agree with, but we could see something happening, especially after she did that whole smiling thing and all that. But at the same time, I'm saying this and I'm thinking SmackDown, they were really pushing that extreme Liv Morgan situation. Don't know what that's about. But I think she could work in the faction pretty well. I really do. I think she could play that sadistic character pretty well. I think she could play that whole split personality quite well. Maybe that's what this will be about. This whole extreme Liv side. Don't know where it's going, but I think Liv Morgan is a good option. It's a really good option, and it gives her something to do because I'm worried she has nothing to do after this.
Of course,
title loss.
She has name value now that she was champion.
Exactly.
The run wasn't too great, but she's been champion, so people know about her. People know that she can deliver.
Exactly.
So Liv Morgan sounds like a solid option. MPKH, what are you saying,
bro? Liv Morgan as well. Yeah, I also want to see where this whole extreme Morgan gimmick goes, and also it also gives her something to do, like WrestleDrop speed. Also, we don't want to see her not appear on TV, and then we get worried like that's what's happening to Liv Morgan. Why is she not on TV? Then we start making assumptions like that. But another person that would be interesting would, I don't know who I can say in the roster that could fit the Wyatt Six role, but I see probably Joe Gacy being in this.
I could see that.
I see Joe.
I can see that. Sounds like a step up from what he's currently doing. What he's doing now has no direction anyway, but him being a part of something that he's trying to build in NXT with a name like Bray Wyatt leading him, I think that would be solid.
I think it's like you say, better than what he's currently doing.
Yeah.
So it's just the next level up to what he's doing. He's had the practice in NXT. He's had his try at it. It hasn't worked. So put him with Bray.
All right, so I want to throw it to Mr. MPKH because he's the one who said Gacy. Do you think Gacy will be able to like drop down? Because what he's doing now in NXT is more like a cult leader type of gimmick or character. Do you think he'll be able to like drop down and become a follower of Wyatt, or allow Wyatt to be the leader? Because that's exactly what he's going to be if this Wyatt Six is a faction.
If it leads to something if it leads to a program with Wyatt and Gacy somewhere down the line, then I can see it in a way. But at the same time, I'm not so sure how Triple H and Stephanie McMahon would go about on how to bring out Joe Gacy into the main roster. Because do the grizzled young veterans stay, or do they go with him? Or does Gacy go on his own and then be followed by Bray Wyatt, who we all know is experienced with this type of gimmick. We all know how Wyatt is with this type of stuff. So yeah, I think some direction is needed for Gacy, and I wouldn't mind it, really. I wouldn't mind it.
On that point, I think that this would be, if it were to happen, that they put Gacy in the Wyatt Six, I think this could be his best, if not his only option to go up to the main roster. Because honestly speaking, what he's doing now, where he is now, I think it's a far-fetch that he's going up to the main roster. He's still going to need a lot of work. He's still going to need a lot of character development. So if he's got someone like Bray Wyatt, hence I asked, will he be able to step down to a follower? Because he doesn't have to do a lot of work if he's in a stable, if he's in a faction. Whereas what he's doing now, trying to be this cult leader, it's going to keep him in NXT for the foreseeable future. So I think him joining the Wyatt Six would be his best bet to going up to the top. I don't know what you think, Mr. WrestleDrop.
I agree, because with Bray being there, that spooky character spot is filled up. So you can't have Gacy there, Bray there. I would say Judgment Day, but they kind of on it. It's a different thing, but they're still kind of that dark animated side. So that spot's filled up. So like you say, he's going to be stuck in NXT for a while. I agree with you. So I got another name that's I haven't seen mentioned. So it's kind of just, he's got nothing to do right now. So this could work. Is Dominik Dijakovic, or T-Bar, whatever you want to call him. I think he's got nothing to do. He could be that enforcer role. He could be that big guy in the faction. Every faction needs a big guy. I think that would be something for him to do. And
he's a worker. I mean, we've seen what he can do as Dijakovic. We didn't see much of T-Bar because that happened. But
for the better.
Yeah, I mean, Dominik Dijakovic, you always refer back to his match against Keith Lee, and you see there how good the man actually is. I mean, of course, he had other matches in NXT, but that one just strikes the mind faster than all the others. I see it happening. I see it happen. The heavy hitter of the group. I think Dominik Dijakovic, I mean, given the right, make him Dominik Dijakovic again. No T-Bar nonsense, no wearing of masks. I think with that, you can really get the best out of him. And I see it.
Oh, for sure. I can see Dijakovic going back to his old role and being with the Wyatt Six.
For sure. That's something for him to do.
Yeah. Going back to names mentioned, and we were speaking about this before we started recording. I really want to see it. I don't know if it's going to be possible. I mean, nothing is impossible now that Triple H is taking over, but
big facts.
Bo Dallas return. A Bo Dallas return is something I would not mind whatsoever, especially now that, I mean, we've never really seen him work with his brother in that sense. I mean, except if you know about his OVW stuff or his Florida Championship Wrestling stuff. That's where they work together. But on the main roster or on mainstream, they've never really worked together. And I mean, Bo Dallas, as we know, is a great character in himself. And whatever he does, you, man the pun, believe in because he's that good at what he does. So I think a Bo Dallas return and having him just run around with Wyatt, obviously doing something worthwhile, but them working together seems like something I'd really be into.
I agree. It's been something spoken about for years and years.
Yeah.
Back when the
Plus,
Fiend.
both hot topic as well. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Another thing is on him and Liv, I think, in real life.
Yeah.
So back to the
Crazy.
first name, so Liv, Bo Dallas, Bray, kind of makes sense
The
that
story
they.
writes itself.
the
Exactly.
Simps are gonna be crying. I know the Simps are crying right now that she's. But hey,
Hey, the
If you're
man's got
Liv
some
Morgan
skill. That's
simp
all
and
I'm
you
saying.
didn't know, we're sorry for crushing your dreams. But yeah, it's.
I'm not sorry.
comes to-
Unfiltered's not sorry. There he is. There he is.
He's back.
Yes. He's been let
Yeah,
in.
it comes together. It comes together. And I mean, if we're going to have a 4-man, 2-women stable, I think the last woman name that we can throw in there would be Alexa Bliss, obviously. And that is because of the history. I mean, sometimes the stories are already written.
Yeah,
It's just
sometimes you gotta go the
acting on them.
obvious route.
So what would be your take on that? Do we give Alexa Bliss, because people want to see 5 Feet of Fury Alexa Bliss so badly, but
they?
I mean the story is there, and there's still unfinished business between Wyatt and Alexa.
I'll be honest with you. I've seen the spooky version of Alexa Bliss, and no thank you. Nah.
Look, I've said it before. I don't know if I said it on camera.
Yeah.
Back when Alexa Bliss was champion and her heel gimmick was a thing and all of that. What was that? 2016, 2017. Who were the big names that were champion at that time? You had Charlotte, she was on the main roster for a couple of years. You had Sasha Banks on the main roster for a couple of years. Other than that, Becky wasn't a thing. There weren't a lot of big names at that point. They were all just starting to break through. So Alexa's work on the mic and her actual out of the ring work was so good that she stood out a little bit more. Now you've got, say Sasha's there, Sasha, Charlotte, Becky, Bianca. Can't think of the rest off the top of my head, but there's a lot of names that are now better than her in the ring, match her on the mic. So I think she's just been passed by all of these people. So I don't see her heel gimmick working anymore and her face gimmick working. So I don't mind her being involved with Bray again. Because I just don't see any other way working.
Now that I think about it, it could.
But you get what I'm saying, though. I just don't see her being successful any other way right now, unless something changes again.
Yeah, because I mean, the women's division is stacked on both brands, even on NXT. People are even dropping down from the main roster to the NXT. That's how stacked it is.
Exactly.
So there's bound to be competition unless you're doing something completely different from everyone else. So I get it.
So I think
my final question would then be: is the Wyatt Six a heel, face, or tweener faction?
Tweener. Because I think Bray himself
just
is
causing chaos wherever they need to.
Bray himself is going to be fighting, judging from this last promo, fighting himself in some way.
Himself, yeah.
So
I think the whole faction is the tweener. I think the faction is in a tweener role, really.
Yeah.
Because it's not really much of a bait. There's not going to be many people cheering the faction, nor is there going to be people booing it.
No one's going to boo it. No one's going to boo it. No one's going to boo Bray. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
so,
nobody. Better not boo Bray.
When I say nobody, I mean nobody in the arena. I'm not going to be there, so...
I know. I'm just giving a warning.
If I was there, I might be the only guy booing, so...
Probably.
Yeah, now go on. Sit on your ass. Yeah.
But, I think Bray himself is going to be a face, and whatever's going on with that mask, that's going to be the heel side.
The heel.
Whether that's Bray himself or something controlling Bray. Kind of like how Sister Abigail controlled the original Bray Wyatt. I think that was the story, if I'm remembering correctly. So I don't know how it's going to work. We just got to wait and see.
We still haven't seen Sister Abigail.
I don't think we're ever going to see her. To this day.
There were plans actually back in the day. I think there were plans for Sister Abigail.
There was plans for Liv to be Sister Abigail.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
and also there was. I think it was.
We never know. What we do know though is that the boys have spoken, and from what we've said, it's Bray Wyatt, Dominic Dijakovic, Bo Dallas, and Joe Gacy. Those are the names he threw out for the men. And then Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan for the women. That's the Wyatt Six in terms of this video for us.
Honorable mention.
Conclude?
Eric Rowan.
Honorable mention goes to Eric Rowan.
He's probably going to be involved in there.
Hopefully. Yeah. He's more likely than Bo Dallas, if we're being honest.
Then Joe Gacy. I think Bo Dallas is going to be involved.
And that. But yeah, I think, as I always say, all that's left for us to do is to sit back and watch how things develop, how things shape up. And we'll be back again as the Stomp Boys to give you guys an update or to discuss any further developments in the Wyatt Six storyline. But everything is pointing to it being very, very good. I think that's a fair assessment.
For sure.
I think that's a very fair assessment.
Sure.
Anyway, it's been great to spin the Stomp Boys, myself, Mr. Beanie Boy, Mr. No Days Off, and Mr. MPKH. If you like the video, don't forget to stomp on the like button. If you want to be notified every time we post another video on the Stomp channel, don't forget to stomp that bell icon. And if you haven't already, if you're not part of the family already, don't forget to stomp that subscription bell. But until the next time, it's been the Stomp Wrestling Boys, and this has been just too sweet.